big knife, you know, we might be able to come in. We might be able to come in on the short. There are a lot of names that are up like 50, 60, 70%, you know, right? Like your firms and stuff like that. So I think that's where we'll have to be like a little bit careful. Like you can see this thing, right? It was like 18 bucks, like you're running at 30 bucks. You're up quite a bit on it. Now we'll have to see how these things react. The longer the market hangs out over the 50-day moving average, the more stocks you will start to see, like just remounting, basing, remounting. So like, it's good. Like as long as, you know, we hang out over these two EMAs in this range, you'll start to see collectively some type of rotation too, from like a lot of the names that are extended into the ones that are not extended. So even if we pull back or go sideways for a day or two, as long as we hang out over that 50-day moving average, what you'll start to see is, you know, a flippening in some types of movements in some names. So I think overall it'll be a good thing. Hey, Daniel, what's going on? CH, what's going on? But overall, like you can't argue with the heat in the market of recent. Gut feeling is we do probably we fade off at some point today for a little bit, but it'll be most likely it'll be similar to like yesterday. You know, yesterday we saw right after you got the big extension, man, it looked like a wicked snapback. If you see some of these names, right, like Nvidia cracked like $5-6, and right, like Meta fucking cracked like $5, and so you see like these big cracks, but they just pulled back to the VWAP and got bought up. So most likely, you know, if when we do get the snaps, like it could be fast. And that's kind of what happens in a little bit of a more bullish market scenario, where you end up getting these snapbacks, but they end up just getting bought up like really, really quickly. I think we're kind of getting into that phase. Even if we got like one like epic fucking big down day, say we were like finished down, like we reverse and finish down 1 or 2% even, it wouldn't really change the structure of this overall trend that we've been seeing for the last 5-6 days. We'd really need like a series of fucking meltdown days to kind of change that. So I think that's also something that's really bullish in the market. Let's take a look at its earnings season now. As you guys know, right, that's where the players play. So you can see Alcoa historically kicks off earnings season due to the ticker AA. You know, you can see this thing is already ramping up 5% on, it's ramping up 5% on earnings already. You can see here on T-Studs, right? They'll always post like an earnings flash. So you can see here adjusted EPS 2.6 for 1.49, blah, 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 right? Revenue for the quarter, 3.64 versus 2.83, So you got a little bit of an earnings beat on this, you know, and you've started to see a slight rounding in some commodities plays too, because they've come back down a long way. So if you really think about like this thing was like, right, $100, now you're coming back into the 40s, you know, this is probably something we can actually play. It does have, it should be liquid enough. You know, I think Alcoa in general is never liquid pre-market, but it usually comes in. Fucking Nokia, huh? Look at this shit. They still got Nokia phones. Dude, Nokia phones were so epic because it was like you had a phone and a weapon, right? Like a fucking big brick Nokia phone. Like you had one of those, like you could go into a bar with confidence and talk shit to people and take their girls because you had that fucking Nokia phone weapon. Man, you could really bludgeon somebody with that thing. This is an ADR, so it's probably not going to move that much. But for old time's sake, and for those great, you know, those nice Swiss phones, you really can't. Sergey, what's going on, baby? SLI, this is a lithium play. Hey, so Tesla's popping up on earnings, so you may see some of these lithium plays start to get a little bit of heat. None of them have the liquidity that we really need. You know, like, so this standard, look, this is like a nice chart, but it's doing 61,000 share. Can't do it, right? So you got Alcoa. Boom, 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 boom. Hey, so these pot stocks are actually looking decent. You can see here, I think these potentially could start speeding up here. You know, you have like a level here on TLRY. you've got yourself, man, you got yourself a level over here. Now, obviously, there's like a connotation on pot stocks. It's not really about pot stocks. It's about the people that trade pot stocks, right? Pot stock traders typically are the most annoying people on Twitter, and they typically end up being the most annoying people in general around because they're like, hey, pot stocks look good, pot stocks look good, pot stocks look good. But for the first time, I can actually say they do look okay. So we can add this to the list. We can add this to the list. I would even add CGC. You know, this one had a nice push. It's been going red to green like a couple days in a row here. So you can see here, like the dip and rip on this thing was pretty intense. I'm into it. I'm into it. Yeah, TRY earnings is what? So it's on 10 days from now, 8 days from now. I'm into it. Let's add them. Deutsche Bank, chain up. Hey, so Tesla's got its earnings out. It's 3.3%. You know, the big thing with the Teslas, like you've got yourself a range here. Let's take a look at the hourly, right? And you can see here, like you got yourself a range, and it's, you know, it's kind of diced over it a little bit a couple times. However you want to draw it, it doesn't really matter. There's two different ways to really kind of come in. There's two different levels to be mindful of. You have this level here, and then you have kind of a little bit of a higher one over here. So these are the kind of two. So you're kind of starting to clear one, and then you're coming into round two. It's a very big base. It's going back from May. You know, obviously we know Tesla's like a cult stock. If it holds the gap, you know, then guess what? Like, you know, we may have some fun today. You've got a whole host of people adjusting their price targets and all this stuff too. I think that'll be look, if Tesla breaks this range, I don't think I could give Matt you the satisfaction. We'll hit the Rivian. We'll hit the Rivian right at this level. It's like 3350-ish is the trigger. That's the one, right? So add in the Tesla. You know, Tesla is something we'll have to watch, but then, you know, from there, we'll probably trade the Rivian. So add all those. You see here, this is all junk, TRY junk. Yeah, let's add the Tesla. We'll add the Rivian. Hey, AMC still grinding higher too. I don't know if this is more just like a trend trader. I don't know if it's got anything for us personally to, you know, jump into. PLTR has a range break here. This is a Kathy Johnson stock. I didn't see any news on it, but that may not mean anything. You know, we're just in that kind of weird spot where things are going, oh, I see it. Raymond James Institute initiates covering PLTR. Strong buy rating, announces price target of 20. YTC 2000 is not picking this up. Bastards. Let's add it. Look it. First dip on this. PLTR doesn't work good on PLTR does not work good on like chasing strength. But if you do this like on it, like it works really good. Where it's like, you know, spike up, pull back into the MAs, you start to hold at those EMAs, right? Let it grind there for a sec so you know that it's holding, and then you're back off to the races. That's a good spot right there. Oh! All right, let's add that. I like it. Add it. EBTL, jump. Yo. Yeah, Ford Motor Company grinding too. You guys, we'll have to be very, very careful today. We are like ripe for a random rug pull, whether it happens at the open or the midday. We are ripe for just the fucking fugazi to come out of nowhere. Like it's just, it'll happen. Anytime the market's up 4 or 5 days in a row, and you got a lot of stocks that get extended, that knife is just always around the corner. Like it's creeping, it's waiting for you. It's in the corner. It wants to take your money. Like it's there. And I feel like it's coming. You know, it may not last long, but it'll be, you'll get a 1 or 2% pull real fast out of nowhere. When that happens, by the way, when that happens, you've got to remember, like you've got to remember to, you've got to remember to not short, like late. So what I mean by that is like a lot of times these things are, they'll dump and then they'll go sideways and you'll think you got a bear flag, or like you'll short as it breaks under the VWAP a little bit. And that setup has not been working because this damn market's so strong that, you know, that ends up being kind of more like a bear market, right? A bear market thing. Yeah, Mr. Strong. Man, this is gonna be nice. Let's take a look here. Yeah, see this NVIDIA 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. One more thrust on this thing, and we got to take it down. You know, really, this whole zone, you can see here, this 180 to like 190 will be something. You can see like kind of this zone. I would consider this like a zone of, not really a level of resistance, but more like a zone of love. You're getting right into that spot. Whoa, man, we get into that spot. Like we can jam into it today, then we're going downtown Julie Brown on it. And it's going to be hot. Cool. All right. This is nice. Let's see on the downside what we got, guys. Okay, we got Verve. Man, this thing is e-liquid. Probably looks like maybe some kind of offering. Not much we can do on that, unless, you know, we have the parameters where the offering at 200 million shares is a lot. Oh, $200 million worth of shares. They always ramp them up before they do the offering. Hey, so check this out. This did 40 million shares in volume, but it looked like it was probably pretty illiquid. This IPO setup has been working a lot in this market. And what I mean by that is like, you're getting a lot of these IPOs get dusted. And then when they're down like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, they're actually like ramping up for a few days. I think this one's probably going to be pretty illiquid, not my particular flavor. Comparable prices offering at $9.95 per share, 100 million shares. So the 10%, give or take. Cook. Okay, TDOC. Damn. What's up with TDOC? Anybody know?
You like my music, huh?
I liked it.
Like we're playing Stranger Things back here.
I liked it.
Yeah, Stranger Things.
Okay. Let's put it on the list. Who knows? I don't know if that's not as good as like an earnings kind of play, but whatever. RCLs probably get dusted. It's off the CCL news. UAL. And these folks, so UL swings, Q2 profit, operating revenue surges, blah, blah, blah. Airlines suck to trade, people. There's a couple things that are just terrible in the market. Airlines are the worst. They really are. Airlines are the worst things to trade. Banks are the second worst. Oil stocks are usually the third worst, but this year they've been somewhat playable. Man, there's nothing worse than a bunch of airlines. If your list consists of UAL, DAL, you haven't done your homework. Okay. Good. AT&T is getting busted on earnings too. Now it's like right at the 200-day moving average. You need it to break under to get this thing going. Not my particular flavor. I'll add it to the list, but that's not really my bread and butter just because of the location. Hey, this Mara is probably going to be a day too short. You know, we had a really good one on it yesterday. That paid the bills yesterday. If it stays under yesterday's lows and start to build, like you're going to get a day two, because usually when these things crack like that, they're not like 1 day ponies. You know, you could keep shorting them, probably keep shorting it down into the 9 EMA. So you got about $2 more to go. I'd roll with that too as a day two. Good. Man, this thing had a huge run. So you're talking 50, 80. Probably we need a couple more days before we can long this. I think this is on our permanent list for a while, but like it's way too, right? It's way too fast and loose here. Let it pull back for a couple days, and I think we could probably come back into this. I'd leave that alone. Yeah, I think this shop has got a chance because like you don't have, it's extended, but it's only had one big day. So when you think about like, okay, something's extended or something's overbought, this is definitely overbought, but it's only had the one big day. So a rest day on this, I think probably gets it going. A rest day on this probably gets it going. See, like all these are like, you know, right, a little bit long in the tooth. Right, the only one that's not really is this Roblox. If all the other ones are getting real long in the tooth, right? Like, how are you supposed to add this up, right? Like up 50 points. We may just need a rest day, or you can hit these on deep pullbacks. We have 183. Man, we need a one rest day, I think. See here, right? You getting this? What's the term? Long in the tooth, short in the cock. That's the way it goes on some of these 5, 6, 7 days. Just leave it alone for now. Probably go in, right? Like something like an SC is like a little bit less extended, or shop is a little bit less extended. Now they're all overbought, so there's a slight variation between overbought and extended. So like one is overbought. Okay, that means it's up too many days in a row. But like getting something extended or parabolic is like a slightly different variation of that, where it's like, oh, fuck, right? Like that would be like your Mara, right? Where it's like $4 or $5 and it gets to 14. That's extended, right? Or parabolic, where a lot of these other ones are just sadly just, right? They're just overbought. So the short doesn't come that easy on this. Good. E-Trade always has weird issues in the morning. Let me check. Like, see some of these stocks like SI, I think that's got to come back down. Same thing, right? Netflix, you're up 80 points. Like, this could be a day 2 play, but we're really getting into this like very overextended zone. I think we got to let these things pull. I haven't seen anything. I haven't seen anything of mine, but they always show up like later. Ever since they started getting free commissions, they've been a fucking yep. Yeah, let me take a look. Ooh. T-1000 does these fucking wicks all the time. What's this happen? I hate when they do that. They did it in my Ameritrade too. Yeah, let me look, Almond. I think, yeah, you could probably keep bashing on this LI for a little bit. You got this big breakdown over here. Probably that's worth a gander. You know, all these things are kind of just like resting a little bit. Homeless man. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Yeah. We're going to need to take them down for a hot second today. Then we'll come back and see what's up. Then we got these earnings plays. Like, see this TRY? Actually looks decent. Tesla, CDC. Remember, if Tesla goes, then we want to probably look at, Rivian, Lucid. Both of those got nice bases. We'll need Tesla to follow through. Like, if Tesla rolls over, obviously, then these things are going to be in the dumper. But we're not seeing any signs of it yet. You got a big base over here. We'll see what's going on. Be careful today, guys. When the market gets extended, but you don't have an easy short, then you end up in a chop zone. Sometimes the market can be so strong, but it's also extended, but the shorts won't work because it's so fucking strong. But it's also too extended to get easy longs. And those end up being just like rest days, but they end up being the worst trading days sometimes because you get that choppy, right? You get a choppy inside day essentially. And we could probably use a couple inside days. This snow will probably work. It's a little bit of a bitch to trade sometimes due to liquidity, but when it goes, it goes. I like it. I'm going to add it myself. Take it. Good. Lick W, I'm not familiar. This is like 400,000 shares in volume. It looks okay. I mean, you could trade something like this if you're going to trade like, say, 30 shares of it. You should be okay. Maybe we're going to trade 1,000 shares of it. It'd be a little bit more difficult. You know, but I think even up to a couple hundred shares, you'd probably be fine. The liquidity matters more like when you're starting to, right, add a little bit more. Good, let's do what we do.